worked with the SB design team and working with Jordan, but yeah, I was actually brought in early on that. And it was talk about, hey, what about if we do a 3 or a 4 or a 5? And then I was like, God, 3 would be sick, or a 5 low.
What's up, everybody? It's Joe LaPuma. You were watching the Complex Sneakers podcast. As always, I'm joined by my 2 co-hosts. He's already getting on my nerves. Already.
Say the same right back
at
you.
Yeah, don't worry. We're going to get back to that week conversation.
Not
He's
the green
back.
monster.
The white monster's back. Look, I
Monster.
still got the Air Max 95s on my brain. My brain should be scrambled. I'll tell you who's not. Fresh off the 12-hour jet, breeze to the
15 and a half
beaches,
hours.
black
From
mantle
Australia,
fitted,
yeah.
G-Unit sneakers, Mr. Brendan Dunn, fresh off
G-Units.
ComplexCon Hong Kong. How'd you make it?
Am I moisturized? I did my morning routine. I dipped my face in the Saratoga water. And
Yes.
I spread the banana peel on.
People hating on it. I thought
pores.
that routine looked great. People are hating on that.
I mean, like, the elephant in the room with the whole thing is that, like, the guy's just clearly, like, on steroids, and it's like, oh, yeah, it's like, this is the real secret to looking this big and jacked.
It was 4 hours of doing absolutely nothing.
You know, the guy had the black and silver Asics on. I like Saratoga Stillwater. I'm a Mountain Valley guy.
Yeah,
I used to be
yeah.
Essentia. But Saratoga water is great.
Gwyneth Paltrow moving with the Mountain Valley.
A lot to get to today. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know how much I have to tell you about my trip, but we could go through it. What else is happening? Nike earnings call is always a big thing on my calendar, so I have some details from that.
Air Max Week.
Air Max Week, New Balances.
Mm-hmm.
Do we like the kids' shoes?
A couple of kids' shoes dropping. As always, check out the Complex shop. Some new drops on there. And, of course, great guests.
Eric Koston is in the building.
I'm pumped. Welcome back.
I drank a lot of Evian out there. I was on
Okay.
a strict water diet for about 24 hours.
We heard my boy
I was going through
praying to the porcelain god over there.
Yes.
I was good moral support for you, though.
You were. You
I
were
was
there in my time of need.
And I said, listen, talk to the concierge. Do you need anything? What was I going to do? What was I going to do from here? I don't
popped
know.
some activated charcoal. Yeah, helped me out with that.
Okay.
Friend of ours.
How was it?
It was a good time.
Any footwear notable trends or things overseas that you're seeing that stuck out? Or no, a lot of this shoe, a lot of that shoe?
Nothing felt like that salient worth reporting on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
What was the biggest shoe
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the thing?
Any?
Well, I was there for a panel with Jeff Staple and Zellerfeld
Mm-hmm.
about the Zellerfeld 3D printed shoes, so that was the one I was thinking about the most. There were some Converse drops there.
I mean, just on foot. Like, there wasn't, like, one sneaker that, like, hey, those are, like, the most popular sneakers
No,
out
not,
there?
no.
Okay. You know, we were talking before a little bit that you didn't like We.
We SC.
SC.
I just had a pair of the jeans, and they were...
This was a random conversation that came up before we started rolling, and both
30
of you were
seconds
very
on it.
passionate.
30
They were
seconds
raw
on it.
selvage jeans, and I was wearing them back in the day, hoping that they, be stiff and they'd get the fades in them.
Yeah.
I woke up one morning and
Wasn't as stiff when you woke up in the morning as you
Yeah.
thought it was going to be?
they were
We
literally,
tried
they were like floppy, like one of those, those
Kid
dancing
show.
things with the wind that goes through them outside of
I
car
only want to
dealerships.
bring it up because We SC was the official jean for Complex for a long time. Shouts to Bradley Carbone. Okay, if you were there, you were there. You said you got them in 2008. A little late. That's it.
2000 and late.
Yes, exactly. What do you got in your dossier over there? I see a lot of white text.
yeah,
And I know, listen, I know some of that text is for our guests, which I'm super excited about.
Yeah. Did you see that disgraced Oregon sneaker reseller Zadeh Kicks pleaded guilty to
I
$80
did.
million in wire fraud and bank fraud
Saw that.
conspiracy last week? Sentence facing up to 30 years, I think. Ordered to pay restitution. Him and his partner Bethany. I'm happy that this saga is over. It'll be sentenced in the summer. I
Those
hope.
ones where, like, I forgot about it. And it
I
just
know,
kinda, like, popped
still
back in.
ongoing. I hope people can get some of their money back. I know this was very taxing for a lot of people. I know that people have been fighting to get all the resellers who were invested with him. Our friend Abdul has some money.
I was going to say, who did we have here that
That's the,
sat
like, the
on the
most
podcast
random
and was
one
like,
to
I
me
have
where
money.
I'm like,
with
why are you
Abdul?
Yeah. Look, I know it's been a long, hard process for everybody who was invested in that guy's pyramid
Unlike his
scheme.
jeans in the morning. Sorry.
I hope it's come to a close. I hope people can find some peace with it. And I hope all the young resellers who lost years off their life dealing with this can move on.
What?
No, just,
What are you laughing at?
Just it's a funny thing you said.
What?
No, just funny. It's not. It's fine.
Like a clown?
Yeah.
Oh, listen, 12 hours on the flight. Don't test
15
them.
and a half.
How much?
15 and a half.
Even on the way back?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What else?
Nike quarterly earnings report.
Yeah, you were in there, of course. He had the little aluminum can listening closely with the string on it. Sometimes he disappears in the office. We're like, where is he?
Mm-hmm.
He's at a private room. He has one single ear pod in. We're all looking for him. He's on the quarterly earnings call. What did we find out? A lot of reporting that, Nike's down, Nike the worst.
Yeah, it was a
thing ever.
bad quarter for Nike.
And there were some findings that even the new CEO basically talked about the shoes that were super popular and maybe they went a little too hard on.
Hard on like his jeans.
Unlike your wee jeans in the morning.
Yeah, the turnaround has not been as quick as some people expected for new Nike CEO Elliott Hill. I just want to read some figures. Revenue down 9% to $11 billion. Nike Direct revenue down 12%. Wholesale revenue down 7%. Converse revenue down 18%. And yeah, Joe, there's an ongoing theme that's been in these Nike quarterly earnings reports for the last year where they're saying we need to slow down on Dunks, Air Jordan 1s, Air Force 1s, and they're still executing those plans and they're decelerating them quicker than they'd planned to. They're saying we're pulling back on these franchises. We're trying to inject newness into the market. We're trying to spread the product mix and be a little bit more healthy with respect to the shoes that we have on shelves. I'm just surprised at the extent to which they went too hard with those shoes. I know we've talked about it before, but they really milked them for all they were worth.
During those days, you could have been like, yeah, the Sub-Zero Ice Jordan 1 is selling crazy. I'd be like, oh, really? It was just flooded. Flooded. And
yeah.
Dunks.
You know what happened to the Sub-Zeros now? Finish him.
Yeah.
Fatality.
Elliott's trying to finish
At
it.
that point, when that was basically just the whole like epicenter of not sneaker culture, but just the sneaker game as we know it, or it was like the offshoot. It's like this is the sneaker world that, you know, the online sneaker world that a lot of people feel like they exist in, and then there's like the more mainstream sneaker world that was like an offshoot of maybe like the more limited hype world that we deal in, or collector connoisseur. And I just felt like when that was what was going on, when people would talk to you about those products, I never felt more disconnected from sneakers as a whole, where it's like
In the peak Dunk Jordan 1 Air Force 1 era.
yeah, where it's like some people were like, I need to get these. Don't you like sneakers? Don't you love this? And there was like a point where I love those shoes, but then when they came, what they became under John Don, I just felt like this isn't the sneaker world.
You were
that-
totally
Did
alienated.
you
Yeah.
think of getting out of the business?
No, not at all. It's just
My heart was beating.
yeah. It just
Imagine we lost him.
No, just looking at that, it was just you're like, this isn't the sneaker game anymore. You know? And you're trying not your hardest like not to hate on it,
Yeah.
but it's just you just have no feelings towards it.
You had the Mark Jackson, what happened to the game I love?
Yeah, exactly.
Every night.
I still think Nike has a lot of work to do to undo that and to remind people that it's not a retro company. I think it is in danger of looking like a retro sportswear company. And somebody on the call asked Elliott Hill about how strongly they feel, how confident they feel about the innovation they have coming and the new products. And he had some good answers, but part of his answer was, we have innovation coming in sportswear product like the Air Max 95 and the Vomero. I'm like, that isn't innovation. If you do something new or different on shoes that came out 20 or 30 years ago, that doesn't count as innovation.
But it's tough because it's like a new shoe that came out, like the Problem Solver 8, right? Where this is supposed to be like the ultimate skate shoe.
Yeah.
And literally see that shoe nowhere.
Yeah, the Olympic one last year.
Or a shoe that I saw on the shelf when I recently went to JD once again. Just it was sitting in the corner. Shoe I totally forgot was that Nike breakdancing shoe from.
That's
the
a cool
Olympic.
shoe. I like that shoe. I don't think it's peak innovation, but I thought that's a good
Sitting,
new
But it's
model.
something. It's something new. I totally forgot that shoe existed though. I've never seen anyone wear that sneaker in public.
Yeah. I do think there's some interesting upcoming Nike stuff. Nike Nectar, a new traction pattern thing that they haven't announced just yet. There's this chunky Vomero coming out that I feel like they are positioning maybe internally as an On killer or a Hoka killer, this big chunky running shoe. I just want more new stuff.
I feel like when Nike always says that they're going to do something and it's going to kill something else that's super popular, it's the most kind of like.
Wait, hold on. That's not out there. That's just what I think some
Okay.
people think it's going to be.
All right, let me just keep all my thoughts. to
No.
myself
I want to
then.
hear your thoughts still, but I'm just saying.
Well, it's just like
You never heard that from him. Let me keep my thoughts to myself.
no, it's just like earlier on where Nike thought that like the Field General was going to be their Samba killer.
Okay.
You know?
Well, did you see the new store Print Temps in New York City?
No.
Oh, it's like this. It's not a department store. It's really dope concept.
Okay.
Downtown. It's a very nice put together store.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a bar in it and stuff like that. And then there is a sneaker room and it's like, it was front and center, total 90s.
I think that
Total
but
90's
I think
gonna be-
that's cool. Like
That's a cool shoe.
Yeah.
I just think sometimes when Nike reacts to something else in the market and thinks
Yes.
that our version of it's going to kill the certain thing that happened totally organically,
Yeah.
it's kind of just like a weird pompous attitude.
Yeah.
Do you think the Total 90s have a shot to be the next thing? I think they moved really good.
Total 90s for sure. But the thing is, to me, Total 90 is not that much in response to another shoe. I agree with Wealthy in that the Field General or the Astro Grabber felt in some ways like a response to stuff like the Samba, but the Total 90 doesn't feel to me that much like a response to any particular shoe from another brand.
Well, I feel like Total 90 is kind of like, not the how do we replace the Samba, but it's still like trying to play in that whole like soccer space.
Okay.
Do you think the Bodie Astro Grabber being voted like as one of the shoe of the years of 2024 is a W for Nike or no?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I think that shoe did everything it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Still, we talked about it on here before, but weird that they didn't put it in line yet. But I guess you protect it for a little bit longer. Maybe we see it in line 26.
I just think the Total 90 is like, it's a cool nostalgic bit, and we've really even talked about it on here, where it's like, it's funny that shoe went from, you know, kind of in Europe, in UK, where it's like a lot of kids wore it growing up because like Wayne Rooney, Ronaldinho wore the shoe, but it kind of became a meme to some point. If it's like you're an adult wearing Total 90s, it's like go put on some like grown man shoes. And now it came back as a nostalgic bit. But I don't know if I can picture as many people who are like in the fashion scene wearing that shoe that's so overtly like branded and like technical looking for like soccer fans. I don't know.
Donnie Kwok wore it, and Angelo Baque, big Total 90 guy.
Okay.
Two titans of fashion.
Two strong cosigns.
Exactly.
Also a big soccer guy.
Yes.
I want to add one other thing to the ongoing Nike comeback story. When I was in Hong Kong at ComplexCon, Jeff Staple hosted a GOAT talk with Hiroshi Fujiwara, Fragment, longtime Nike collaborator.
How was that?
That was very interesting. Great conversation.
Can you scoop some of
They're
the
like close
answers? Let
friends,
us
too.
know.
You weren't allowed to record any of the
Did we record
thing.
it?
Nobody's allowed to
Wait,
record
it's not
it.
going on YouTube?
It's not going anywhere. I
Oh.
think that's a thing often
Okay, but
when
you can tell
Hiroshi
us.
appears. But yes, but he was talking about, so right before going to Hong Kong, Hiroshi had been in Portland at Nike's headquarters working presumably on upcoming Fragment things, maybe other things as well. But he said that Mark Parker was there working on campus every day of the week that Hiroshi was there. So I'm not saying Mark Parker is coming back. This is not a sign that Mark Parker is coming back, but you can imagine he's more in the mix. He's not on the board at Disney anymore, has more free time certainly, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was very incentivized and inspired to help Nike get back on the right track.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what the GOAT sneaker was, though?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Don't ask for a field report from him. We asked two simple questions. We asked, what was the most popular shoe
My brain
in
is
Hong
so
Kong?
scrambled.
To be fair,
My insides were scrambled
yes, to be
for
fair,
much
he did
of the
have a
time
stomach
I was
virus,
there.
But God forbid, two things. Don't ask him what people were wearing, and don't ask him what Hiroshi Fujiwara and Jeff Staples
You're
said
not
was
allowed
the GOAT
to. You're not
sneakers.
allowed to talk about
Okay.
it. No one's allowed
Yeah,
to know.
like that ever stopped you.
They put your cell phones in the bag where you can't text on it.
Not quite. New Balance's spring summer 2025 made in USA line. Did you see this teaser image of this? There's a bunch of new colorways. There's a New Balance 992 that looks to me like a straight rip of the Packer shoes. New Balance 992 from a few years back. That honey suede tan colorway. I hope
Might get a pull up on the bike. Careful.
Mike Packer's on a revenge drive
you
up
get
to
a-
Boston right now.
You know?
I do
Sorts
like
of people out.
those New Balance 2010s that Kith unveiled
Okay.
over the weekend.
Yeah, he gave Junya a pair.
Yeah, new silhouette. There's
I
like the
wanted
black pair.
I may be debuting a Kith shoe this week.
Really?
Yeah, and it might be a little departure from what I'm used to.
Okay,
We'll
just
see.
putting the fans on notice. Okay.
And of course, the only person who could get me to wear not dark shoes, RF.
Magnified, yeah.
Hey, we
Your
haven't
friend.
spoken about it recently. Is there any intel on how the JLP Kith Treats flavor has been doing?
I think it's doing okay. I think
That's a lie.
I think it's doing okay. I'm not sure. I want to ask if it made
You
it
don't
to
have any numbers on
Osaka.
that?
Okay.
That's-
The last P&L that I saw, I got my hands on a
you
P&L.
never saw a spreadsheet.
Okay, I saw the P&L I saw is that it was doing a little better in Miami. LA still
It was down 7%,
Not
like the
great.
Nike
Still-
direct revenue.
still my earnings call looking like earnings
You
call.
and Elliot Hill got
Yeah.
more in common.
I need to ask, maybe we should FaceTime him to see if my flavor made it to Osaka, the new store. I'm guessing it didn't, but whatever. I have my own markets.
Okay.
I have my own markets.
There's another event, by the way. You talk about upcoming events. There's an event that we just missed that I feel stupid for not referencing it last week. But did you guys know it was the birthday of 2 titans of the sneaker industry?
This is gonna be stupid.
The Pulvers.
Oh,
Jake and Dylan's birthday.
they had it at ZZ's.
I don't
Wait,
know.
Carbone, Miami. Where did they have it?
I'm not sure. I did not get invited. I'm sure there were loads of Nike insiders there. Maybe that's why I didn't get invited. But
what about me?
I'm not. I don't know. I was frozen out.
Damn. Was it in New York City?
I don't have many
Okay,
details.
well, we'll remember that. We'll remember that. Pulvers. We got pulverized.
Would you have pulled up in that new
Pulled up.
pulled up in the new
Pulled up.
CPFM Nike hat?
Yeah, I would wear that hat.
He'd be
Yeah,
good with
but
that.
Don might be able
Yeah.
to sort me out.
Yeah.
Would you wear it?
I don't know.
Did that new collection speak to you, Joe?
Not really.
Well,
Really?
you hated it.
I don't hate on it. Just I feel like the CPFM stuff is just I've seen enough of it. I just want them to do something new.
I like their stuff, and I will say that Vapor Max still one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just was never for me.
Yeah, I wore it to the Webby winning award. Dave Matthews was there. Dave Matthews had a Tom Ford suit that night.
That's another lie.
I know. It was the Michael Strahan collection for JCPenney, but still, still great.
Are you
Still
breaking
great.
them out for Air Max Day this week? It is Air
It
Max
is
Day.
Air Max Day.
It
No,
is-
I went different. You probably thought I was going to wear 95s. No, we'll talk to the shoes I'm wearing, but I went subtle. It is Air Max week, and I will say, after this show, I'm looking at you, okay? We're going to the office. We're going to the bullpen. We're going to get everyone who's wearing Air Maxes, and we're going to stand in a circle.
Oh yeah.
We're going to stand in a circle, toe down. Look, you have your Spiridons on.
That's
and
not an
we're
Air
go-
Max. That's Zoom Air.
Yep.
Oh, what a
Let me tell you
dork.
something.
Did you do that on purpose?
No, I
Something
just
I-
wanted to be respectful and wear a pair of Nike sneakers.
You
today
couldn't
'cause
wear
you have a
Air
Nike
Max,
day.
though?
This is a very anti-Air Max shoe because around the time of this shoe's development, Mark Parker himself was very firm that the designers needed to incorporate Zoom Air in upcoming designs rather than Air Max because Nike's original patents on Air were about to expire, and soon enough they were expecting imitators in the market because anybody could use Air type soles and make Air Max type sneakers. This is what some of the gentlemen who developed the original Air Zoom Spiridon told me. So it was a very much focused thing of this is not an Air Max shoe, this is a Zoom Air shoe, and Mark Parker was a big Zoom Air guy. What?
Well, if he saw you wearing those, he would throw your ass right off campus like Jazzy Jeff. Okay? If he saw you with the Vibram.
You want to talk about the antithesis of Air Max?
Yeah, but
Day?
that's
let's
an
not get
Air
into the
Max
sneakers
upper.
too
You
much,
did it
but-
like he did it. He came
No,
in
this
like,
wasn't
no, they're
anything
not.
slick. This wasn't anything slick. This was literally just we have a Nike affiliated guest on
Yeah,
the show
Eric
today. So
Koston's
I went to the
coming.
office instead of saying, "Hey, instead of wearing New Balance or something else, I'm just going to wear a pair of Nikes."
Pay your respect, pay your
Yeah,
Ritu
we're-
peck,
we're-
tip your
This
mantle
wasn't
hat.
a
No,
sh-
I'm in the mantle.
This wasn't a shot
had-
at.
the pants are mantle.
This wasn't a
too.
shot at Air Max. This was like literally me just wearing a pair of Nikes.
I can't be bought, so it's Zoom Air.
Nope, it's not that at all.
No, I'm just playing with you. They look good. They look good
I
on you.
rolled my ankle wearing
Oh.
these shoes after putting them on for about 30 seconds.
Okay.
The Zoom Air, they weren't laced all the way, and the
Too
Zoom
bouncy?
The Zoom Air like kind of just went like this.
You,
and-
you zoomed and you zigged and you
Yeah.
zagged in the wrong
Too much
direction.
White Monster.
yeah, just went.
It's a little too much dip on your chip.
Yeah.
These are actually the first times I've ever worn Spiridons.
Yeah, you
before.
feeling like Michael Johnson?
Do you like wearing this shoe a lot on foot, Brendan? Or
I find them a little bit uncomfortable. I think it's a beautiful shoe. As you know, I've been working on a piece about them for the last 3 months. I promise you it's almost done. But yeah, I can't wear that shoe every day.
I think they look great from like the top down. Now that I'm looking at it, but
Yeah.
on foot they feel like okay.
Joe's trying to get a top down, a bird's eye view.
You were a Spiridon guy back in the day, though, right?
That's like the biggest myth.
No, you weren't.
The biggest
No,
myth.
I
like,
thought you wore the all
like,
black
I know.
Spiridons
like
back
sneaker
in the day.
lovers
It
around the
wasn't.
world
That-
are
no.
whispering falsities about
I really
like
thought
the extent to which Joe LaPuma has enjoyed the Spiridon.
One of my worst
Like there's a
narratives out
Nike
there.
talk thread
One
about
of
like
my no, he always
Joe
says it, but I
LaPuma's
never
Spiridon love.
did.
Well, there was a period in the office I remember where people were wearing the Ultra Spiridons
Yeah.
in triple black,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that maybe you were in on it too.
Nope.
Big Jose shoe.
Oh God. Yes.
Sneaker shopping director.
Hey man, you need to look out for. I'm like, what happened? What am I activating? What? You need me to meet you somewhere? What? You want me to call the boy? The Spiridons are coming out. I would really like a pair.
I told him, you're going to be fine.
You'll be fine.
Nike.com, yeah.
He was talking to me this weekend about because obviously Koston's coming on, and he was asking about the next Air Jordans to become an SB, and there was someone skating in a pair of those Air Jordan 6s that are like a hybrid looking one that have the Jordan 8 panel on the back. I'm sure you've seen those. Some skater was wearing them, and he thought it was a prototype of an Air Jordan 6 SB, and that we should get to the.
Well, listen, he's good behind the lens. In front of the lens on the shelf, a little shaky. Okay? That's my boy, though. Look at that ASAP Rocky treatment. Look at the intro. On a whim. Jose Melendez and ASAP Rocky basically directed the episode on a whim.
Yeah, we might have to skip the Webbies. We might go Academy Awards.
Come on now, Golden Globes.
Do you think that's going to be your biggest episode of the year, Joe?
I don't know. We'll see, because I got some other ones coming up.
Joe, you want to bring our guest on this week?
It's time. Our guest on today's podcast is a true skateboarding legend who has been at the forefront of the sport for over 3 decades. A multiple-time X Games medalist, he's also left his mark on sneaker culture with multiple signature releases with Nike SB. One of LA's undisputed kings, joining us on Air Max Week. We're excited to welcome Eric Koston to the Complex Sneakers podcast. Long time
Thanks
no
for having
see.
me. Thanks for being patient.
Oh, of course.
And dealing with some time zone issues and sleep issues.
You've been bouncing all over.
World's starting to thaw out, so starting to get busy.
Got to be outside, right?
Great to see him since my golfing.
You guys went golfing
Speaking of
together?
outside,
How was Joe at golfing?
did Joe golf?
What would you
No,
call
we
it?
made
golf?
him hit a ball
Yes.
off of one tee.
Yeah.
Yes,
And I think that was it.
it was.
Literally?
It was
like
one
2
and
holes.
done.
And
Dude was on his phone.
And how was the one? How was
Pretty
just
accurate.
like looked like you had other shit going on too.
I wasn't good, and you guys were all good. Schoolboy, great.
School is
You, great. All fitted up.
this
I
was
had
the
a
Complex
makeshift.
Invitational last year in
Yeah,
Vegas?
the Pro-Am. It was great. I got to hang out with them, but I was a fish out of water. Here's the thing. You guys were like, it's just so fun. It's so fun. I was not good enough for it to be any fun. I was driving the golf court, and Schoolboy was like, you can't drive over there. I had no... It was
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things. Yeah. Like, don't drive the cart too close to the green or tee box. Just kind of. But the format we were playing is a scramble, which is I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but everyone gets
There's
to
no
hit
way
a ball,
he knows
right?
what that means.
Everyone gets to hit a ball. You just play the best one. You go to the best one. You play from there. Everyone gets to hit again. Play the best one after that. It's not a big commitment. It's playing your own ball.
But what if you know your ball is going to be the worst every time? That's why I'm like, I don't need to go.
There's no pressure. You just have
There's no
fun and
pressure.
just
Also,
whack.
how are you going to be able to hit the ball good if you never hit the damn ball?
That's true. Well, I'm sorry.
The one swing that he did take, was it good?
It wasn't bad. Did you used to play?
He's a little jet lagged. He's lying. Okay. No.
I've seen way worse.
No.
Trust me. One time, it was this big media event that like SB had where a bunch of people flew out here to New York. Actually, we stayed in Williamsburg, and Stefan Janoski took him around Williamsburg because he lived there.
Yeah.
And then other guys did something else with them, and then I was to take them to Bethpage and took all these different media from all over the world to play like 9 holes of golf.
Damn.
And
Bethpage is a real course, too, for real.
all of them were worse than you.
Okay.
And not to throw them under the bus.
Maybe some GQ people
And so
in there?
I had to rotate.
want
I had to
names?
rotate out through these groups and basically be a golf teacher. And the thing about that is, if you slow down a golf course,
Yeah.
that's
what I was worried
The real golfers,
Yeah.
that'll piss
That's
them
bad
off.
news.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we jammed up the whole course. Marshall's out there. He's barking at me. I'm like, didn't you guys get the rundown of like what you guys are doing? Like we're doing here. Like, but I was the dude trying to like
Wrangle everyone.
mediate the situation, be a golf coach, and try to get everyone to have fun. I just try to feed them drinks at that point.
No
It's
more
like,
media golf things for you, mate. Between me and the other editors, you know?
No, put me up at the win. Let me
that
play
was
the
fire.
course.
Yeah, that was good.
Invite me back.
Yeah, great guest.
Camera. Which one's straight to the boss?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Invite him. Yeah. He'll be there. Let's talk about our shoes before we go any further. Eric, what are you wearing today?
I'm wearing the DN8s.
Pink
Air
colorway?
Max. I like the pink.
Air Max Day is this week.
It is Air Max Day.
How are you celebrating?
Besides this.
Yeah, besides talking about the newest
Yes.
in Nike's innovation
Yes.
and technology, I'm going to be probably not even wearing shoes. I'm going to be Palm Springs Surf Club.
Nice.
Nice.
With
Sand
my
between your
kids.
toes.
Yeah, there's actually sand there too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a wave pool.
Oh,
Yeah.
even better.
I'm gonna be surfing in Palm Springs.
That's fire.
Beautiful.
I don't think I have any of those Air Max like slides.
Oh,
Yeah.
That would be,
yeah.
my contribution.
That'd be yeah.
This is your
exactly.
contribution.
That would show
Toes out.
commitment. Imagine Air Max slides on Air Max Day. Company guy.
I'm doing this Air Max 97 custom thing.
Without
This
the
is
Air
so.
Max.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
what the hell's going on down
Okay,
there?
so this I'm doing Air Max without the Air Max, exactly like Welty said. Like you, Eric, I know you told a story once about having an original pair of Air Max 97s and the bubble blew out on them.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. This was an original 1997 pair of the neon colorway.
Yeah.
And the sole fell apart, so I had a Vibram master cobbler redo them, and he put a Vibram sole on the bottom. So something a little fancy, a little
That's
more
cool.
formal. Do you approve?
Yeah.
Or does it feel like sacrilege,
No.
bastardization?
No, because at least you repurposed something, right?
Yeah.
Rather than throw it in the garbage.
Yeah, right. Good for the environment.
I think it's cool.
Appreciate
Makes
it.
me want to do something like that.
Yeah? You gonna go on this journey with me?
Sure. Or maybe I do something like the opposite.
Ooh.
And do like a
Like a bag on a pair of hard
No,
bottoms?
get like a Gucci loafer or something, or like a Louis loafer.
Put Air
And
Max
then
on it.
put an airbag on the bottom of that thing.
I really hope to see that.
It'd be like, it's like business casual.
Yeah, mullet.
Yes.
Party on,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a mullet shoe. yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Joe, what are you wearing?
doing the cold wall TNs.
Yep. You scratched them down?
Yep. Kind of ripping off a little bit. I brought these out.
You skated in them?
No, I didn't skate in them. I
Yeah.
feel like people expected me to wear a 95, but I did the TNs. One of your favorite shoes.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
They made those into a golf shoe.
Yeah, so I saw
Recently?
that, the blue one.
See, like,
I know, I got to get out there.
it's just a
It's
reason
calling
to.
you, Joe.
I know.
It's a
The blue
reason
one-
to like look fresh.
that was the other thing. The fit sucked. Everything
You-
sucked. My fit sucked.
Gear
Everything-
crisis. It happens.
Next year,
Coming
this
back
year,
with a vengeance.
maybe we'll see.
All right. Welty, what are you wearing?
Just doing a pair of Zoom Spiridons, the most recent retro. First time wearing them. They're cool. I like them.
Good shit.
I like Spirit-Ons are comfy.
Yeah.
See those undefeated ones?
Yeah.
God, I gotta hit them. I think they just dropped. Am I gonna miss the boat?
Oh,
You have to put in a call to get them, or
I
they
gotta.
just-
There's a text. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
There's
text.
for being like a Nike dude for 15 years, I don't get as much as you think I get.
Really?
What?
Yes.
Oh, come on.
Because I have
Eric.
to you have to. No.
You got the red SB4s in the
First
luggage
one.
right now.
Well,
Yes.
that's what they sent to me to wear when I
Okay.
went up to the event in Oakland
Right.
during All-Star Weekend. They didn't even send me the blue ones. It was
Just the red.
just the red.
Do you love that still? Like, do you still
Yeah.
get the feeling of like,
Yeah, I was like, ooh, I got the, and the rest of the team didn't. I'm like,
yes, flexed on them?
Were people trying to buy them off you at all?
no.
No random DMs.
I don't really check
Yeah.
random DMs.
Smart man.
So I want to go back to 2001, right? So I'm in Providence, Rhode Island at the Gravity Games. You're there competing, right? Like 15 years old at the time. Me and my friends go down there for the day to skate the city and see the event and whatnot. And at the time you had gone up to the fence and you're signing a bunch of autographs and I just handed you a white t-shirt. You sign it, right? Just sign the white t-shirt. But my friend at the time, Joey Miller, he was a huge fan of you. And he had a pair of the white and blue Koston 3s that you did the back side lip slide on the Thrasher cover with. White and
okay.
Carolina blue almost. And he hands you the shoes and you're just signing a bunch of autographs. I just remember your face lit up because he actually handed you your sneakers. And at that point, you're just signing your name. But it was before Chomp had come out. And you do the big Pac-Man logo on the shoes and hand it back to him. And me and my friends are like, what the hell is this? Because we didn't even know what the Chomp thing was. But
Yeah.
that moment for me, just seeing how much you got excited about seeing him having your shoes was one of the moments I go back to in my mind where I'm like, damn, that's when sneakers really started to matter.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, it's
I know,
always,
I
It's
don't
cool
remember
because
it,
yes,
but-
it's they're fully supporting
Yeah.
me. Still appreciate that, especially when they pull out the first dunks I did when I got on SB.
The Ty Temple ones.
When somebody pulls those out, I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
because no one cared about dunks then, and I was like, I want to do a dunk.
Yeah.
Did you have to
From
convince
here.
them to let you do a dunk?
No, not at all, because the dunk business was kind of slow anyway. So
Yeah.
and then did some things, kind of reworked the dunk even from the original SB dunk that probably people did not like, right? The puffy tongue.
Yeah.
So then the tongue went a little slimmer.
Right.
Because the tongue was like
Super fat.
aggressively puffy.
Yeah.
You feel like the SB
long,
dunk tongue
too, the
was
length.
too long and too puffy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And there was heel slip issues, little pods, a little bit of change in the heel counter. Because I remember like guys like skating, we like to tie our shoes like, or leave them kind of loose.
Yeah.
Skaters for the most part. And then if they bail, they're like yard sailing their shoes off their feet, like, but while skating, it's kind of.
Yeah.
So did some tweaks like that. I remember a sneaker blog where people were venting about it and they're pissed. And
People were
then
upset
it
with the
changed
liberties you took.
again. I was like, yeah, it is a little too thin. And then it's like, then the current one is like kind of the happy medium, but it's definitely not the way the tongue was back in. But then the tread changed too, because original dunks they're good when they were new, but the grip didn't last.
Got it.
So
You mean original SB dunks? Or
SB
yeah.
dunks, yes. Yeah.
But you were still collecting like dunks
Mm-hmm.
before that, because I know
Yeah,
that there's
before.
that like that Barracks video where you're going through your whole sneaker collection and you have like the shoe racks. I know you had a pair like Tiffany's like up in the corner.
Yeah, like I didn't take care of them very
Tiffany's
well.
one of my favorite of all time.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick did such a great job on that shoe.
you
Yeah,
skate
I remember
those?
when I was. No, because I wasn't skating. I wasn't skating.
couldn't-
I was
yeah,
skating
you weren't
for,
Nike SB
Got
at
it,
the
got it.
I
time.
was, before that I was with Lakai, and before that with S. I just chilled in them, like when it was.
It's such an interesting idea, though. You kind of have to be secretive about
Yeah,
enjoying the
yeah.
shoes at the time, right? Because you have other footwear sponsors, and it's like even though you love the SB dunks and these are your friends making them, it's like you can't really publicly
Yeah.
Yep.
show them off in
Totally
any way.
show 'em off. Yeah, if I wasn't skating and I was going out to dinner or going to the club.
Yeah.
Club used to be fun. Because there was
No social
no
media to
social
where
media,
no one's gonna
like-
take a photo
yeah.
of here's
You get
Eric
to-
Koston and SB
Yeah,
dunks.
exactly.
Yeah.
No one's gonna.
Is your collection still that insane? Because I remember watching that video and being like, this is like massive like hoarder vibes. You know, you're in your garage and there's all the boxes like everywhere.
No, it's like it's organized now. It had to be.
Did you get rid of a bunch of stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah.
did get rid of stuff. Yeah, definitely had to like cleanse too.
Yeah.
Just like also there's shoes that you're like, what? Why
How
did I
did I-
save these?
Yeah. Yeah.
When I finally tackle
Yeah.
the task of having to deal with that, you realize like, whoa.
You were nostalgic though, because I know like one point you
Yes.
break out like the original like Columbia 11s, you know, and they're all yellowed and whatnot. But I feel like having that in hand's kind of hard to be like, well, I'm just gonna chuck this.
Yeah, I mean, I used to ball in those things. That's why they're all wrinkled up, and then the clear, transparent soles don't age well.
What would you say is like your current rotation in terms of how many you wear consistently now for like a month? Are you like a every day a new pair guy, or switching pairs? Not necessarily new, but switching pairs, or like you have like 2 or 3 a month that you wear constantly?
Yeah, it just kind of changes depending on how like bored I get with something. You know,
Okay.
sometimes I'll just run something too much, and then I'm like tired of it, or then there's just like also just comfort.
Yeah.
I've been definitely in like straight dad mode where it's just like P6000s, Vomeros. One which is kind of funny is the Supreme Clog Posit too.
I love those.
You're a
They're
big
so
Supreme Clog Posit guy?
They're so comfortable.
I love those. I haven't got a pair, but to me, they're one of those shoes that look good on like everyone who wears them, and I'm worried that they're not going to look great on me. But
I mean, graphically, it's pretty bold for
Yes.
people
Yeah.
because also they're just by the door, literally. Like, so it's like a pair of slippers.
You know, you made him upset though when you wear tested the black SB Jordan 4s.
the Black Cats.
But that's what they do. They
my
just black-
favorite-
I know. I mean, that would have been great to actually if that color would have.
I know.
But it's
Can you
kind
put
of
in a word? Maybe Black Cat Force
No.
SB.
You were so excited for that.
like well, no, but just,
I was
that's
about
how
to
the-
do an ollie or
That's
a
how they
kick
do
flip.
it. No, it's just because when you're just wear test samples are blacked out. They're just
Got
murdered
to be
out.
secret.
Yeah.
People thought that was a real thing
I
happening.
know.
People were
I
messaging me
know.
like, I'm pretty sure there's
Yeah.
a black version of the SB
was-
Jordan 4 coming out.
It was bubbling even when it was
Yeah.
like, hey, it's not happening every 2 months. Black Cat, Nike SB4, like they wouldn't stop saying like it's actually going to happen, and it doesn't seem like it's happening.
When you see that kind of like
Malarkey.
no, well, just that kind of that much of a demand.
that
you
level of
know?
interest.
That level of interest. It's like, you know,
It's
got to be done.
Did you have any
Yes,
input on
yes.
that green colorway? Because we thought it came kind of like out of left field, where it's like that's not the color you would envision. Like it's a great shoe. We named it Sneaker of the Year that year, but you just wouldn't expect white, green, and gum sole to be the launch colorway of a SB Jordan 4. You know?
I did not have any say. There was other colors, right? So those red ones,
Yeah.
the blue ones, and the green ones, and they were all going to come out,
Oh,
and there was going to be in different friends and family.
okay.
Well, when it finally happened, it's like, oh no, we're only going to do one, and it's the green one. I was like, what were all these all about?
Other stuff they
Like,
had cooked up.
Yeah.
What kind of feedback did you give them when you were wear testing the shoe to help change proportions or padding on the SB Air Jordan 4?
A few things. I worked with the SB design team and working with Jordan, but yeah, I was actually brought in early on that. And it was talk about, hey, what about if we do a 3 or a 4 or a 5? And then I was like, God, 3 would be sick, or a 5 low. And then somehow I was like, no, wouldn't it be good if it was a 4? And when
Yes.
the suggestion becomes
They're
a
asking.
command,
Yes.
you're like, well, I don't care which one.
Yeah.
Actually, if we got to work on all of them,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter when. And so that's how it happened. And then just looking at old vintage images of Jordan and when those shoes were out
Yeah.
in the 4, you see the shape of the toe. You Google a bunch of stuff, you'll see how the vamp is a little bit longer. And you see that over the years, the 4's gotten like super boxy toe and short and stubby. Yeah. And also, when you walk in them, it pinches because of all the layers that are like meeting up.
A lot of people said they were really uncomfortable. Like the 4s before you
Yes, they were
redid it, they were like
very
really
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable.
Yes, because where the tongue is meeting up with the vamp area and that rubber mesh, all that, just all the stuff that was there, and also the length of it caused that creasing pinching, because there's too many layers, and where it actually flexed, it just poked everything back down into your toes, like top of your toes.
Yeah, it's interesting because I used to think that, like, I'm pretty sure you could actually see the crease in the toe box when you would wear it. Like it was like literally like a line.
Yeah,
But-
because it's just too many materials. So then just lengthen that, but also it gave it that aesthetic of the original, like what it looked like back then when it first came out.
Change the shape a little bit.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
they use that shape right on like all the Jordan 4s just in general, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've looked
that's
at them.
interesting.
And I've noticed that they don't look boxy and stubby anymore. Took the 4-foot airbag out too.
Why is that?
Just board feel. Kind of lose that when you have something in between.
Yeah.
Like on the 4-foot with skating, yeah. Like having a 4-foot airbag is kind of, I mean, you can do it, but it's just still another layer between your foot and the board and what kind of control you have.
You just want as little there as possible.
Yeah, you want to be able to control the skateboard with your feet. And
Yeah.
that's like the further away you get from it, the harder it becomes.
How did the airbags compare on when you had them on the S shoes versus the Nike airbags?
In my first S shoe was definitely like more of an aesthetic thing than a performance thing. Wasn't quite it. Then it was, you know what? Like you were able to do it. Remember? I think did the trademark run up?
Well,
on
so
the
we
airbag?
were
You remember
talking
when
about
people-
this before you came on. It was around 97, 96, or 97 that Nike's original design patents for
patent
Air had expired, and
Expired,
then it let other people be able to use similar designs,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah. Then you were able to actually make. I think that was the time when it started. Like on like by my third one, it was like a legitimate airbag.
Yeah.
Like Nike's. We just stole it. Basically, but
Yeah.
but it was open game.
And you were a big Air Max guy growing up?
Yeah, I was always
Which models?
I liked 90s a lot. From like also just since I was younger and going to Europe, and you would see so many different 90s and like in colorways that I would never see in the U.S.
And are you coming back from Europe with a bunch of Air Maxes?
Yeah, that, and then remember when the 95s came out.
And what was that like? Were you traveling and then bringing those back? And
Yeah, that's what it was like. I'm pretty sure it was like a Foot Locker even. It was like in Northampton, at a skateboard contest that's like in the UK.
Yeah.
And I It was Kareem Campbell. The contest was in this warehouse, and a bunch of people are just like hanging out outside, like drinking beers, you know,
Yeah.
As you do.
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he walked up, and I was like, "What?" They were like crispy new. I was like, "What? Did you get those here? Where'd you get those?"
Were they neons?
Yeah.
Okay.
And was that the first
The
time you'd
original.
ever seen the shoe?
Like
OG.
it was that when they came out,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh yeah, the Foot Locker, like you know, like a small town like that
Yeah.
in England has like a main drag with all the retail, right?
High Street.
And I'm pretty sure it was a Foot Locker.
Or JD Sports, maybe?
It wasn't even JD because I feel like JD wasn't as big then.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because at that time, yeah. I
Did you
feel
go
like-
and scoop a pair right away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But it was like the window display, all that. It was like,
Yeah.
Were you surprised at the price back then? Because they were pretty expensive.
yeah,
or-
it was definitely like, but I was like, I'm doing it. Definitely bought 'em there, and then
Skated in them?
no,
Chillers.
chillers.
Do you remember seeing Stevie do when they
Yeah.
first did the switch heel flip in the
Yeah.
95s? Where you're like, what the heck, or just
No.
thought it was cool?
No, it was just like, oh, he probably was chilling or forgot his shoes, whatever, or he's just like, oh, I'm gonna skate in these today. Like these look dope.
What do you think
Damn.
about like the staying power they've had? I feel like they're as relevant as ever. I know for me, it's like probably my favorite of the last.
It's my favorite Air Max.
Yeah.
For sure, out of all the Air Maxes, 95. I've said it before. It's like in my top 5 of sneakers.
Yeah.
The colors, the materials, like the OG neon. like,
Yes.
yeah. And then other colors too, you know.
Comet Red.
The slate. So I remember getting those when those came out after. You know, then it started to see. I remember coming back, and I'm like, I got to get another pair of 95s
Yeah.
on ice, just in case. And they were actually kind of hard to get.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like you have to call Champs and Foot Locker and even like the mom and pop like
Yeah.
sneaker stores.
Yeah.
You were hunting around for 95s.
Yeah, I had to hunt around a little bit. But I mean, there's enough malls and Foot Lockers in the LA area.
You'll hit somewhere.
Yeah, I forgot where I had to, but I did have had a pair on ice.
Big Bubble's coming out in a couple weeks. Neon 95s.
You gonna get them?
That's the way to be 30 year anniversary.
Insane, right?
95.
What about these SB Air Max 95s?
What?
Have you heard anything about those?
I've heard.
Fair enough.
I've heard about it. SB Air Max 95.
I think one of those might look like that Comet Red pair.
How do you turn Air Max 95 into a skate shoe? Because I feel like logistically that's much different than turning a Jordan 4 into a skate shoe.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically, if you were to do that, similar to the Jordan 4, just
Take
try
the
to maintain the original aesthetic as much as possible.
Take the 4-foot air out,
And then you
maybe.
do subtle things
Yeah.
that are only noticeable when you actually wear them and see a difference.
Because I would just feel like the arch on the shoe, the way that it's almost like, you know, like two pods in the front heel would be like weird for a board feel, but
Probably would. But how do they look? How do they look on your feet, though?
We look forward to figuring it out
Yeah,
one day.
one day.
Hopefully. Maybe. Allegedly.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't believe the internet.
You definitely do
were
know.
you into it when SB started turning some of like putting, I think they did it to your shoe as well. They put the bubble on it, like the Janoskis and whatnot. Were you into that concept? Did it feel like a true Air Max shoe to you?
Yeah, it did. It was cool. It was the way SB could have like a comfortable runner, and it
Yeah.
was considered R&R, like rest and recovery.
Yeah. I remember Nike was doing a lot of those at the time.
I mean, it was definitely a time. It was cool. There was, and then they started messing with other things like Lunar, and
Yeah.
but it was nice to have like my signature shoe in like in an Air Max.
Yeah.
So it's-
You had 3 signature shoes with Nike, if I recall correctly?
yes.
Was that always the plan? Like, did you know that you were going to have 3, or was it like,
No, I didn't even know if I was gonna get one.
yeah,
I was kind of pretty hard-headed.
yeah,
It's like, I'm going to make something happen here. Like, if I'm going to get on Nike, I want to be able to do things. Like, I've never been able to work with a brand with that kind of technology.
yeah.
So then it just happened, and then first one started working on that, then the talks of the second, then the talks of the third, you know.
I feel like the 3 was the most daring with the Flyknit collar.
I
Yeah.
took a risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flyknit I was working towards. You know, I really love Flyknit. I definitely wanted to push things, too. Because at the time, everyone was like, pretty much in like a black suede vulcanized shoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody skate wise, like that's it. Like it was just boring as hell. Of course it works, but I wanted to like still like use innovation too. Like I feel like I want to do something that pushes people a little bit. And also,
Do you feel like people understood it?
no,
It was-
some did.
yeah.
I feel like the people that actually skated in it, and when they told me and how well the shoe actually fit, it was like a glove for your feet. But yes, aesthetically, yes, I get roasted, sure.
Did you care?
No, at least I tried.
Yeah.
You know, I still want to keep doing things like that with SB. I feel like, and Nike's DNA to like,
Do weird stuff.
yeah, but just push and come up with new technology. Like, oh, and does it look weird? Whoa, or is it shocking? And then maybe people will warm up to it
Right.
years later. Like, oh, this should have been, you know, this. I get it now. You
Yeah.
know, sometimes it takes people time to sort of figure things out like that. But then it's tough sometimes with skateboarding. Like skateboarders, if it works for them too, they don't want to switch it up.
Yeah, I feel
You
like
know?
it must be one of
If
the
it ain't
tougher
broke,
audiences.
don't fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I've been collecting sneakers since I was like 19, and I used, you know, all that to inspire the designs of all the ones before Nike, right? And so I just want to try things that are new
Yeah.
and push those boundaries a little bit.
What do you remember when you were getting recruited by Nike, like the Portland trip? Was it a fun trip?
Yeah. No, it was great.
Weren't they like rolling the red carpet out for you?
It wasn't full red carpet, but it was a good plan. No. It was like taking the tour of campus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do you want a coffee? Then we go onto the cafeteria there at that time, and the coffee area, and
Yeah,
then the
JBS.
barista like turns around and is like, what would you like? And they have these Koston shirts on with like older sort of retro Nike logos. But,
I've seen
that
this.
were
I've seen this logo
ripped off.
treatment where they redid all these. There's like even the Air Max 95 logo
Yes.
with Koston
Koston in it.
Whoa.
in that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in
Did you
this
save any
old-
of those? Those
What, the
like,
shirts?
yeah.
Well, they didn't make that as a shirt. There was a couple other ones that I did save those.
Okay.
I think the
shirts.
Athletics West logo they
Yeah,
did
with
like
the
Koston
tree.
style. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
Did they ever give
And
you that?
it was just said Koston with a question mark on it.
Oh, did they ever give you that treatment when you go there?
That's not how they
then you
received
go
me.
I go to the gym. Dude's wearing a shirt also, and it's like, oh, okay, this feels good. Thanks,
That's
guys.
awesome.
No, it was great. But yes, there's that image is out there somewhere too.
Yeah.
With
It's
all
really
the
cool. It's
mock-ups of
like
just my name.
all the repeating
see
Koston
that.
logos. Yeah, I'll show you.
How surreal was it for you to do that Kobe collaboration? Because I feel like that's like a legendary shoe. Obviously, you being the big Lakers fan, I remember that Oakley ad, you know, where you're head to toe in the Kobe jersey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that was like, oh my god, this is really happening. That was a trip. But even the first time I met Kobe was Atiba was shooting him for Slam, and I like Atiba would do these shoots, and I would go as his assistant. So I did it a few times. One definitely with Kobe because he had the 3 trophies. Yes. So I was like, I gotta make it to this. That's awesome. Another good one was like Darius Miles, Quentin Richardson, and Elton Brand.
Gotta hit him.
Right.
The best.
That crew, I mean, they were really fun to watch. That
Yeah.
was a
Yes.
fun. Yeah.
Yes.
Clippers.
Another time with, actually, it was like when those guys were, it was Adidas, Tim Duncan,
Yeah.
Tracy McGrady,
Yes.
and
Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett. Yeah. But then the Kobe thing, yes. The next time I guess I met him is when we're shooting. I just gotten on Nike, and Paul's doing the campaign for Today Was a Good Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. Yep.
Classic.
I cameoed in it, and then they're like, Kobe's coming. All right, he's coming. All right, hold on. It's going to be another hour. So
Yeah,
we're
that
like,
happens sometimes.
well, yes. It happens. But he showed up. We're at Loyola Marymount
Okay.
College, and then we had to like skate off the set of like 9 stairs. They're kind of long. Paul and I were going to go back to back, and then you see where Kobe and we're both, you know, pretty consistent skaters. Paul especially. If one couldn't do it, like we couldn't do it back to back. It
In
was
front
like,
of Kobe.
that was hard also.
Yeah.
There was a bit of pressure there, and they
Yeah.
were like, he's got like 45 minutes. Paul and I are like, dude, you got to make this next one. I will land on it. Just you land it.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
got this. He lands it. I bail. I'm like, so like, Kobe's watching us too, and he's like, you guys good? Like, and we're like, no, we're fine. You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
it's kind of a long set of stairs.
Yeah.
You know, when you go faster, you have to like, when you bail, like, you got to go into that like stuntman tumble, so it probably looks like we're getting hurt, but it's I mean, we've been doing this, our whole lives.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe's worried. I don't want to worry Kobe.
No.
He thinks I'm gonna like get hurt. I'm like, I ain't getting hurt. Like, don't. Just like he was cool. He stayed longer, probably an hour and a half.
Did he skate at all?
No.
Didn't hop on the board.
No. He was tripping on how like he's like, man, if that was me, like I wouldn't be like walking the next day.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's different. If I was in like a playoff series having to play basketball as hard as you have to, my back would be blown out.
Yeah.
Achilles torn, hitting a
Dude,
free
everything
throw.
would, yes, hammies would be pulled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Totally.
the type of conditioning you're used to,
And you were making like Nike ID Kobe's too at the time. I think you had that black and white pair where you put frost.
Yeah,
on
it's
the tongue.
definitely, that was sick when you could do the ID and all that. But like when that came about, it was like, yeah, he's down. But it's definitely ahead of its time. Like we sold it at what used to be the retail location that Nike had, was called the Vault at Staples Center, and then sold 24 pairs. They were $1,000 a piece. There was a raffle. Came in a humidor, had like cigars, like golf balls and stuff in there. I had, and it was my sole, his upper.
The packaging was crazy.
Yeah, but there weren't that many out there.
Do you have them still? Do you have a set?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Because I ended up getting them all and seeding them basically for my friends, like friends and family style, like because they weren't sold. We did make a takedown version of it with like an embossed
I remember that.
nubuck
Yeah.
of the snake print that was skatable.
Yeah.
That actually went to retail.
Do you skate at all with Tim Robinson? I feel like you guys run in the same circles,
Some-
and I know he shreds.
I've only skated with him actually once, but my friends do like, and
Yeah.
I mean, I see him out socially, but like,
He's such an icon
no, they
to
go
me.
like they'll go skate, but it's sometimes just like never lines up with what I'm doing. Or I'm,
You can't
home
speak to his
on-
skating style.
No, he's good.
Yeah.
I'm sure he wants to be able to skate more, but he's busy.
Yeah.
Man, I want to skate more. when
Yeah.
I'm
We all
home.
do.
Sometimes I can't, but yes, Tim's good.
You said that there was talks of like a 3 or a 5. Do you think we'll see a 3 Nike SB skate shoe?
I don't know. If you had to pick, would you go 5 or 3?
3. Yes, I would go 3.
But he's not skating in them.
Well,
No, not well. You're not.
okay, it's fair.
I'm not either. but-
How hyped were you on when they did the Lance Mountain Jordan 1s SBs?
Oh, those were sick.
Yeah.
Those ones, the white ones with the
With like the,
two
tearaway
colors.
on it. Yeah.
The actual paint when it scrapes away. Because that photo of where that kind of originated from is that era, right?
Yes.
All the pros that I looked up to, Lance Mountain, Neil Blender, Mark Gonzalez, even Tony Hawk, Tommy Guerrero, Steve Caballero, all skating in Jordan 1s. All of those guys.
And all did it different, like tinkered with them differently.
Yeah, because like that photo, Lance just spray painting them.
Yeah.
Right? And did mismatch pair on top of that. But I guess Nike was sending, like, especially to Powell, like those guys, to Powell Peralta. Like,
Just
Yes.
boxes of
Yeah,
Jordan
of
1s.
Jordan
Really?
ones.
They weren't
Yeah.
moving.
Really?
They were on
Yeah.
sale.
Yes.
Did you go out and buy a pair to skate in, like just like
No.
your idols at the time?
Well, I did the Carolina low.
Right.
Yeah.
Reason why I did that is because it's the shoe my mom wouldn't buy me. It was like at Marshall's in San Bernardino.
Oh.
Original Carolina
Yes,
Air
back
Jordan
then.
1.
When the opportunity for that shoe and myself, it was low was the option, and I was like, it's fine with me.
Yeah.
I'll do that. So I made it that color. That's why I had like $24.99 label on the inside, which was kind of going to be a weird thing. I thought at first, maybe some false advertising type thing.
I thought I was going to be able to pay $25
Yeah.
for these.
But that's what they were.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And
At
I already
Marshalls.
had, there was, and I'm like literally back to school shopping and probably just getting clothes at Marshall's and stuff. And it's like, your shoes are already fine. My mom was like, I'm not going to like get you a new pair of shoes when your shoes, until those things like
Fall apart.
dissolve. I couldn't get them. So I had to make them.
Got to make something.
I did.
Sometimes you got to do it yourself.
Had to wait 30 something years and do it myself. So
Worth it.
yeah, it was worth it.
How many pairs of neon 95s we getting with the big bubble? Or you used to say that you put one on ice. You get multiple pairs. Will you try?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will, depending on which one it is. Yeah.
So the bubble's slightly bigger. It's the same OG tooling, but I think they just rebuilt it a little bit to try and make it a little bit more like the 1995 version. But that's how they're doing neon this year.
Yeah. Trying to remember. Was it bigger? Like I remember
It was
The pair I had, they had
twice the size as like what it was like
In
2 years ago or whatever.
What's crazy, I don't even have those. Like, but I had the ones with even not that long ago. I don't know what the hell happened to them. You know, it was like 20,
The PSI
25 psi. That was like
Yeah.
on the bubble.
A lot of people are saying that Nigel Bike Air Jordan 4 is sneaker of the year. What do you think about that shoe?
The red one,
Yeah.
The brick, yeah.
Yeah.
it's pretty sick.
Yeah.
I like red shoes. It's funny if you look into my past, you're gonna see a red version of all of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks good. I like it.
What was it for last year? Like your favorite sneaker from last year?
I'd probably go with the Wu-Tang dunk because actually
Yeah.
I like that
You were hyped to see that come back?
color blocking. I
Yeah.
can guess who didn't get a pair.
Really? Come on.
Yeah,
Gotta get those.
yeah.
Yeah, right to camera.
Dude.
They're gonna send you the undefeated 4s, right? When they come back out.
Let's hope.
No, they're
Yes.
going to.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a sample
Oh, tell us that story, please.
at Undefeated, the original.
The
store.
original. Oh, were the original pair in like 2004? Or you're
Yeah,
talking about-
like sample.
Yeah.
And I thought they were gonna come out.
Okay.
And then just never did.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, yeah, the tongue,
Yes.
Velcro label on the tongue. I saw them all. Yeah, because knew Eddie for a long time when he was just at Union, and he was bringing sneakers from like Japan,
Yeah.
like Dunks and stuff, and selling them at Union.
This is Eddie
and
Cruz.
I'm like,
was
yeah,
doing
Eddie
that too.
Cruz, and I'm like, what? We don't have many sizes, but I was like, you got a 10.5. I think I was still a 10.5 at that point, like 11.5 now, but
Yeah.
pretty crazy. My foot still kept growing. But then he's like, I'm gonna open up, get this spot next door, and we're gonna start doing sneakers. And then also, my homie Fred that used to work at Nike Town in Beverly Hills, like, I would have to like call or I'd talk to him. He'd at least tell me like when certain things were gonna drop, and I would just have to go to Nike Town and go buy them. Know the drop day from him.
Love
Fred
that.
Fred ended up getting the job when
Yeah,
Undefeated
yeah, yeah.
started.
Yep.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, sick. I was like, no way, like that's perfect.
Yeah.
Because we had always like nerd out about sneakers and all this stuff and drops back then, and literally had to calling stores. You still have it, you still
Yes.
have a size 11 in this.
When is this
Can you
coming
hold 'em
out?
for me?
Where can I
Yeah.
find this?
Yeah, but like calling Foot Lockers and Champs and stuff,
Now you just call Beaverton direct.
more or less. But yes,
We're doing a big Air Max day in LA. You're telling all these LA stories. Do you miss those days of like running around and the sneaker skate culture in LA where you had to like call Champs and big box retailers and things like that? I know it was obviously more of a hunt, but like those glory days of sneaker culture in LA.
I guess. No, it was annoying too. I think about it because you're like having to call these places.
It wasn't
I
fun.
don't totally miss it,
Yeah.
but it was. But when you got it right,
Yes.
I was probably like real frustrated until I tracked him down. Then I'm like, oh, I'm better now. You
Yes.
know?
You're
I'm
going to
happy
Sporty
now.
LA
I
back
got
in the
my
day?
way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you'd be like, 12s are sold out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It was like, what's happening here? And they were, and it was getting kind of crazy.
What was the best sneaker spot in LA? Like pre the whole boutique thing, before sneaker collecting. Like where was the place that you would go in LA specifically?
There was Sporty LA on Melrose.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. I don't even know this store had a name. It was like on 3rd Street by the Beverly Center, in sort of a mini mall. And it was just a mom and
Nondescript.
pop
Yeah.
sneaker store. But like they would tell me when stuff was also dropping. So I could call them and be like, hey.
Need that.
Yeah. So that was kind of my first plug. It's just a straight mom and pop shop. Like, yeah.
The best type of plug to have.
Yeah, it was.
Besides
you know?
Nike itself, obviously.
Yeah, but back then that was like, it was that, and you were at the mercy of the mall too. That was about it.
Or was it hard to even get the SBs? I know we mentioned the Tiffany's, but like when the pre you being signed to Nike era, did you just have like the homie hookup and all that stuff, or did you have to call people like Brooklyn Dom and like try and like?
Yeah, I had the skate shop
Yeah.
like connection, but even then I wasn't always like in the know of like when, especially when the dunks were going nuts. Like,
Yeah.
those early years, I was like, oh,
03,
can you
04,
pull
05.
those for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but having the skate shop connect, relationships there, that was a lot easier. Even like straight up trading product
Yeah.
for it, didn't pay for them.
Mm.
That was even
Or should
better.
you giving them like decks and whatnot?
Yeah, give
for
them
like,
decks, here's, or new stuff. Like shops will just trade you. I'll give them extra, like whatever. But yeah, that's on top of that, not like having to buy them.
yeah.
Awesome.
Works out.
Listen, we can't thank you enough. Big Air Max guy on Air Max Week. Thank you so much for taking the time. Always great to talk sneakers with you, Eric. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you at
Made
the Pro-Am on the
See-
green, on
see
the
you guys
fairway, at the tee box.
I'll see you on the tee box.
Teed up.
Yes.
Tee time.
Thanks again, man. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you, Eric.
All right, everyone. This has been the Complex Sneakers Podcast. We hope everyone has a great weekend. Please like, subscribe, comment. We will see you next week.